So I've thought a lot about it, and also discussed a lot with my students as well. And let me define seasons of life. So when you're fresh out of school, you're not married, you're single, I think work-life balance is less important, and actually working longer hours, but on the type of product jobs you are interested, actually very exciting. It's very fulfilling. When my very first job as a PM, at the time, I worked 60 hours per week. I didn't feel like work.
Nancy, one of the things we talked a little bit about in the past is the challenge of work-life balance as a product manager. It is a very cool job. There's a lot of good reasons why people want to break into it, but it is a challenging, demanding job, and you are sort of the hub in a hub and spoke model as a PM. Means there's a lot of people asking for your time, and things that you got to do that need to be done like now. How do you think about work-life balance, and how do you think about some of those challenges that you face as a product manager?
Great question. And actually, having a work-life balance is my number one New Year's resolution for me for 2023. It will be the same for 2024 as well. I think it is
a perma resolution.
Permanent resolution, exactly. It's the resolution for the season of my life. So I've thought a lot about it, and also discussed a lot with my students as well. And let me define seasons of life. So when you're fresh out of school, you're not married, you're single, I think work-life balance is less important, and actually working longer hours, but on the type of product jobs you are interested, actually very exciting. It's very fulfilling. When my very first job as a PM, at the time, I worked 60 hours per week. I didn't feel like work. I just did it. I love it. My manager knows how to motivate me. Oh, I love it. My engineering team loves me. I feed into my personal growth as well. I just love it. I did more. And this is part of growth. When you love your job so much and you didn't feel like this is work, I think it's already achieved the definition of work-life balance, because that became work-life integration. It became one thing. That's no problem. And then I went into the second season of my life, which I had a baby, and he's right now young toddler, year and a half, and he's like running around a little bit crazy right now.
Congrats, by the way.
What?
Congrats.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Yeah, I love him so much. But since I got pregnant, and I started to ask myself, what's my priority for season of my life? So therefore, that's actually one of the reasons. And I decided I quit my director jobs. And I think lots of women would like to hear my thought process as well. So at the time I was a director. I was also running my YouTube channel on the side, coaching people on the side. And then I got pregnant. So I knew at the time I cannot do three things at the same time. Doing two together is already kind of over capacity, stressful. Doing three, I don't want to have a regret saying that I focus on my business, my personal career, and I become a bad mom. I will regret for the rest of my life. So I had to make a very hard decision saying that, you know what, I need to choose two out of three things. So I choose my flexibility of running my own company and then also become a great mom. So therefore, I think everyone just needs to ask themselves regarding what's your definition of the priority in the season of your life. And I believe the priority will change depends on how we grow and how our family grow as well throughout the entire process. So therefore, for people who are young, I think you should join those startup companies and work long hours, or even maybe some of the FAANG companies that push you to join to work on exciting but long, challenging product, and do that. You should do that. But once your season of life shift into a family mode, and I think you should look for those remote PM positions, and they are flexible. I'm not saying that you work less hours. You probably work the same amount of hours, but it's extremely flexible. You can pick up your kid. I pick up my son at 3:30 every day from daycare, and you can choose to take a nap in the middle of the day if there's no meetings. Only if there's no meetings, but you just need to pick up.
If you don't need to film a YouTube video.
And sometimes I step away to film a YouTube video and then take a nap, whatever, right? And at night I work longer hours at night because there's no distractions at all. Yeah, so I actually recommend people really think about your priorities, seasons of lives, and just make a decision. Another message to other moms, I know some moms, they took a career gap. They had a baby, they took more than 3 months career gap. Anything more than 3 months, longer than your maternity leave, is considered as career gap. Some dad also took longer career gap as well. I think people just need to give yourself a permission to take some gaps, but have a strong story when you return the workforce. Tell them why you have a gap. The best way to tell them that why you have a gap is actually tell them what you have learned, what certification did you take, what new skills have you built up during this gap, and why those new skills is so critical. They can add value to the new company you're about to join. And those are the key strategies you can use when you choose work-life balance in different seasons of your life.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so I think like you're really saying, like, think about the period of your life that you're in, your season, and then make some clear choices about priorities. And so you have your, like, hey, I can't do these 3 things at once. I really just have to pick 2. I'm curious, like, do you think about at all, like transitioning, like going from a season that maybe like sounds like, like you prioritize something that you've got remote work, a more flexible setup. Do you think that it precludes you or then makes it challenging to transition back to, if you want to like amp up the priority of work, some in-office job? Do you find that there's like a bias for employers looking at that and like you switching back into that? Or
of course, for sure, this bias. I bet there's bias everywhere. There's definitely bias, and I can anticipate there's more bias as sometime in the future I change priorities on my life, for sure. But I think those kind of bias everyone need to face, unless it is your decision to make career your priority throughout your entire career, which is you're working 40 years from 20 plus until 60 plus, whatever, for over the entire 40 years, if you never change it, I don't think we'll face these challenges. But I definitely believe that there's biases, but there's also ways to conquer those biases. For example, I have a friend, she's a lawyer, and I heard lawyer has even more demanding jobs compared with product manager and the consultant. I think that the first profession that's highly paid and even more demanding jobs. But I have several very good friends. They are lawyers, and they're also moms. They took breaks just like me. And the way my friend solved her challenges is that when she got pregnant, she joined a woman-owned law firm instead of a big brand name law firm, because her methodology is the same. Saying, Nancy, you have 40 years to work. You want to join Google, you want to join the #1 law firm, you have time to make it happen out of 40 years. Unless you give up on yourself, you can't make it happen. So I think early in her career, she joined one of those large law firms. Later on, when she's about to have families or several kids down the road, she was like, and she made a decision to join woman-owned company and woman-owned law firm, and it's very flexible because there's a partner have several kids, everyone has several kids. It was like, let's all do it. Let's all understand our way of getting job done. They understand you work at night. In the middle of the day, you pick up your kids, especially when your kids is sick from daycare. Oh, it's just like destroy your whole day all of a sudden. And that's what happened to me. He's like, oh, sorry, I can't film YouTube video today. He was sick. Like, sorry, like reschedule. And then say, yes, he's your boss.
Yeah. For any parent, the notification that your kid is sick and can't go to daycare is the ultimate, like, oh, this day is totally, whatever was on my schedule is now totally blown up. And I just have to figure out how to pick up the pieces.
Exactly. It's like you no matter how important those clients are, unless you ask your spouse to take care of your kids, or you just I'm sorry, I know you're very important clients. I can't accept your money today. Pay me tomorrow.
So I mean, I think that makes sense. And I think you know, the flexibility and like thinking about and just making those priorities. Like you just have to sort of think critically about it and make a call about what matters to you in a given point of time. Awesome.
Yeah, and just give yourself a break. Do not feel too bad about it. Everyone went through the season of their lives. Is the same for everyone.
Cool.